Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm really happy you're here with us today. This is your place to relax, listen, and practice real English conversations. I'm Mia.
And I'm Daniel. Hello, everyone. It's always good to spend time with you.
Today we're talking about a simple but very useful topic, something you talk about all the time. Any guesses?
I think they know. It's something everyone loves to share.
Yes, today's topic is how to talk about your weekend in English.
This is one of the most common conversations you will ever have. At work, at school, with friends, people always ask, "So, how was your weekend?"
Exactly, and sometimes students feel nervous because they don't know what to say or how to say it naturally.
So today, we're going to help you sound confident and comfortable. We'll talk like two coworkers chatting on Monday morning.
Yes, and you can listen, repeat, and practice with us. So, Daniel, let's start the conversation like it's Monday morning.
All right. Anya, good morning. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good, actually. I didn't do anything crazy, but it was relaxing. I spent a lot of time at home, cleaned a bit, watched a movie, and cooked something simple. What about you?
Mine was nice too. I met a friend for lunch on Saturday, and on Sunday, I went for a long walk. Nothing too exciting, but it felt good.
See, this is the kind of talk people have every Monday. Simple, normal, everyday English.
Exactly. You don't need big stories, just clear sentences about what you did, how you felt, and maybe one or two details.
Right, and if you want to sound even more natural, you can add small reactions like, it was nice, it felt good, it was relaxing, or it was a little busy.
Yes, those small expressions make your English feel warm and real.
Another thing people often forget is that you don't have to describe your whole weekend. You can focus on one moment. For example, I had a quiet Sunday morning. I made coffee and read a little. Simple moments still make your English sound natural.
That's true. And if you want to keep the conversation going, you can also ask the other person a question. Something like, "How about you?" Or, "Did you do anything fun?" It shows interest and keeps the talk friendly.
Yes, and it helps you sound confident too. When you ask a question back, it feels like a relaxed conversation instead of a one-sided answer.
A lot of learners also wonder how to talk about a weekend that wasn't very good. Maybe they were tired or they didn't do much.
You can still answer politely without sharing too much. For example, it was a quiet weekend. I mostly rested. That's honest, short, and still sounds good.
Exactly. You don't have to share personal problems or talk about things you're not comfortable with. A simple, neutral sentence works fine.
Let's try a few natural examples people can use. Something like, it was nice. I spent time with my family. Or, it was pretty relaxing. I watched a couple of shows.
Or, "It was a little busy, but I got a lot done." That's a very common one at work.
Yes, people say that all the time. And if your weekend was fun, you can say, it was great. I went out with friends or I took a short trip.
The key is keeping your sentences simple and clear. Most people prefer calm, straightforward answers.
And with practice, these small conversations start to feel natural. You won't have to think too much about what to say.
Right. The more you hear and repeat these everyday phrases, the easier it becomes. Let's try a few more examples so you can hear how natural weekend answers sound. These are the kind of replies people give every day, and you can practice them with us.
Yes, for example, you could say, my weekend was pretty calm. I stayed home, did some cleaning, and watched a few videos. Simple, clear, and you sound relaxed.
Or, "It was a good weekend. I spent some time with my family and then did a little work on Sunday evening." Nothing complicated, just normal life.
Another one is, it was fine. I rested a lot because last week was busy. This is a very common answer when people feel a little tired.
You can also talk about the weather. Many English speakers do that. Something like, the weather was nice, so I went for a walk. Or it rained all weekend, so I stayed inside.
Yes, weather adds a natural touch. It makes your answer feel like real small talk, not a textbook sentence.
Now, let's switch roles. I'll ask you, and you can practice your own version.
All right, ask me like it's Monday.
Okay. Good morning, Mia. How was your weekend?
It was nice. I spent most of the time at home. I read a book, cooked something simple, and relaxed. It felt good to slow down a little.
Perfect. That sounds warm and easy to understand. See? It doesn't need to be anything big.
And here's another thing students forget. You can ask the question back. It's friendly and shows interest. After you tell your weekend, say, "How about you?" or "What about yours?"
Yes, it keeps the conversation going. For example,
"I had a quiet weekend. What about yours?"
exactly. And then the other person will share something small. This back and forth is what makes English conversation feel natural.
A good trick is to prepare 2 or 3 short weekend sentences for yourself. That way, when Monday comes, you already know what to say.
Yes, you can write them down or even say them out loud to practice. After a few times, it becomes automatic.
And the more automatic it becomes, the more confident you feel. Instead of thinking, "Oh no, what do I say?" you just speak.
That confidence is important, especially at the office or in meetings. Even small conversations help you build good connections with coworkers.
Exactly. We can talk may be simple, but it opens the door to friendly communication at work. Now, let's look at how to describe your weekend using clear past tense. This is where many learners get confused, but the pattern is actually simple.
Yes, when you talk about your weekend, you're talking about things you did in the past. So you use simple past verbs, words like went, cooked, watched, cleaned, spent, met, slept.
Exactly. These are the verbs you hear every Monday. So let's walk through a few examples. I'll say a sentence, and Daniel will explain why it sounds natural.
All right, let's do it.
I watched a movie on Saturday night.
Perfect simple past. Watched. You're telling us one action you completed.
Next one. I went to the mall with my cousin.
Also great. Went is the past of go. This is one of the most common verbs people use for weekend stories.
Another example. I slept in on Sunday.
This one is very natural. Slept in means you woke up late. English speakers use this all the time.
Let's try a slightly longer one. I cooked breakfast, cleaned my room, and then relaxed for a while.
See, you don't need anything complicated. Just 3 past tense actions. Cooked, cleaned, relaxed. Simple, clean storytelling.
Here's a fun one. I finally finished a book I started months ago.
People love sentences like this. It sounds real because everyone has that almost finished book.
Let's show them how to mix feelings with actions. Like, I didn't do much, but it felt nice to rest.
Yes, adding a feeling makes your English sound warm and friendly. Felt nice. Very natural.
Okay, now let's do a mini Monday morning role play for practice. Just normal coworkers talking.
All right, I'll start. Good morning, Mia. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I did some cleaning on Saturday, and on Sunday I went out for coffee. Nothing big, but it was relaxing.
Nice. Now do one more, maybe something more active.
Sure, my weekend was fun. I met a friend for lunch, and then we walked around the city for a bit.
Perfect. Clear actions, simple past tense, friendly tone.
And students listening, you can practice in the same way. Think of 2 or 3 things you did, say them in the past tense, and keep your sentences short.
Yes, short sentences help you avoid mistakes, and they still sound natural.
One more tip. If you forget the past tense of a verb, choose an easier verb. For example, instead of I tidied up, just say I cleaned. Instead of I hung out, say I spent time with my friend.
That's a great tip. Use the verbs you feel comfortable with. Confidence is more important than complicated vocabulary.
Once you get the basic structure, you can add small details, like the time of day, who you were with, or how it felt.
Yes, something like, I met my friend in the afternoon, or it felt good to take a break.
These small additions make your English sound natural without making the sentence too long. All right, Daniel, now let's help everyone describe different types of weekends. Because not every weekend feels the same. Some are busy, some are slow, some are fun, and some are just normal.
True. And the way you talk about your weekend changes depending on the feeling. So let's start with a quiet, relaxed weekend. This is something people describe a lot.
Yes, a relaxed weekend usually has simple activities. Maybe staying home, watching something, cleaning a little, cooking something easy, or spending time with family. Here's how you can talk about it. I had a pretty quiet weekend. I stayed home, watched a few shows, and took things slow. It felt nice to have some time for myself.
That sounds natural and calm. You're giving 2 or 3 actions and 1 feeling. Very clear. Let's try a busy weekend next, because many people have those too.
Busy weekends usually have a lot of movement, appointments, errands, family plans. You can say something like, my weekend was really busy. I went grocery shopping, helped my parents with something, and then met a friend in the evening. I was tired, but it was good.
Yes, that's perfect. It feels real because most people understand the feeling of running around all weekend. You also used, I was tired, but it was good, which is a very natural way to end the story.
Now let's talk about a fun or social weekend. Maybe you went out, met friends, tried new food, or visited a new place.
Right. You can say something like, I had a fun weekend. I met some friends for dinner and we tried a new restaurant. On Sunday, I went out for a walk and enjoyed the weather.
That sounds friendly and simple. You're sharing something, but not too much. People like this kind of answer because it keeps the conversation going.
Exactly. And now, something many learners forget to talk about, productive weekends. When you get a lot done, cleaning, organizing, catching up on small tasks.
Yes, a productive weekend is one of the easiest things to describe because the actions are clear. You can say, my weekend was productive. I cleaned my room, organized my desk, and finished some work I postponed earlier. It felt great to finally get things done.
That sounds very natural. And the phrase, felt great to get things done, is excellent for sounding confident in English. Let's also talk about weekends where nothing special happened. Because, honestly, most weekends are like that.
So true. And you can still talk about them in a simple, friendly way. Something like, it was a normal weekend. I didn't do anything special, but it was nice. I rested, spent time with my family, and prepared for the new week.
Perfect. Short, simple, and clear. Even, I didn't do anything special is common small talk. People say it all the time.
Let's give them a helpful structure they can use for any weekend. 3 steps. 1. Start with the overall feeling. 2. Share 2 or 3 actions. 3. End with a reaction or emotion.
Yes, it would sound like this. It was good. I went out for lunch, did some cleaning at home, and relaxed in the evening. It felt nice. That's it. 3 lines.
Easy and natural, and you can adjust it depending on what you actually did.
Exactly. So now that we've looked at different types of weekends, we'll help you build longer answers too, because sometimes people want to speak more confidently and give a fuller response.
All right, now that everyone knows how to talk about different types of weekends, let's help them take it a step further. Sometimes in the office, people don't just ask, how was your weekend? They ask follow-up questions too.
Right. And that's where many learners get stuck. The moment someone asks for more details, the mind goes blank. So let's show them how to build a longer answer without sounding forced.
A simple way to do that is by adding a small reason behind what you did. You don't need a long story, just a quick explanation. For example, I stayed home most of the weekend because I wanted to rest. Or I met a friend for dinner because we hadn't talked in a long time.
Those extra lines make your answer feel more complete. And they sound natural because people often talk about why they did something, not only what they did.
Another easy trick is to connect two activities with words like later, or after that, or in the evening. For example, I went shopping in the morning. Later, I cooked something at home.
Yes, these small words help your English sound smoother. It makes your weekend sound like a flow, not a list.
You can also add a short reaction, just one sentence. Later, I watched a movie. It was actually pretty good. Or, I cleaned my room. It took longer than I expected.
Exactly. These reactions show your personality. They make your English sound more confident because you're not only describing actions, you're sharing your thoughts. Another thing to remember is variety. If you keep using the same words, your answers sound repetitive. Try using different phrases like, I spent most of my time. I ended up going. I finally managed to.
Those phrases sound very natural in real conversation. Native speakers use them all the time. And the best part is, you can use them for almost any weekend. Let's give them a full example of a longer, natural answer, something they could realistically say in the office.
Sure. Here's one. My weekend was nice. I spent most of Saturday cleaning my place because it really needed it. Later, I went out for a walk and grabbed a coffee. On Sunday, I met a friend for lunch, and we caught up on a few things. It felt good to relax before the new week.
See, it's simple, but it sounds complete. You're sharing the feeling, the activities, the order, and a small reaction.
And the more you practice this kind of structure, the easier Monday conversations become.
All right, I think we covered a lot today. You learned how to talk about different kinds of weekends, how to add feelings, and how to use simple phrases that make your English sound clear and natural.
Yes, and the more you practice these small conversations, the easier they become. Talking about your weekend is something you do all the time at work, so it's a great place to build confidence.
You don't need perfect grammar or big stories, just honest, simple sentences about what you did, how you felt. That's what real conversations sound like.
And remember, every time you talk about your weekend, you're not only sharing something, you're also improving your speaking skills without even realizing it.
We're glad you spent this time with us today. Keep practicing, keep listening, and keep taking small steps. They add up.
We'll see you in the next episode. Take care and have a good day.
Bye, everyone.